Hey everyone, Michael Phoenix here, founder and staff of the magazine, and I wanted to kick this off, the Patron, the subscriber part of the magazine, with something a little personal. Every day we see the news, we see the headlines, we hear about it. Violent crimes are committed in this country. I know I'm not going to, preach to you about anything, but I'm going to take it from the personal side. 7 years ago, I was living in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I was living in a hotel. The plastics factory I worked at, they shut it down. The unemployment was keeping a roof over my head and paying the survival while I looked for a job. Make a long story short, two people who I thought were my friends, a couple, man and woman, they said that they needed a place to hang out at for a while until they were getting some money in from Western Union. Okay, not a problem. About 3.5, not even 3.5 years prior to that, my wife passed away. Trailer we lived in caught fire, lost almost everything. It was, a few months prior to that, honestly, suicide attempt. Made it through without anybody there. And pretty much went through almost outside of getting shot and stabbed, I went through almost everything a person could, or a major catastrophe, natural or otherwise. In all honesty, I was alone, just desperate for people to hang out with. Like I said, I thought they were friends. Well, a short period of time after they were there, I was on my phone. I was thinking about getting out of Fayetteville and coming back here to Lehigh Valley. If I try, I can still see the guy's fist coming at my face. If I allow myself to, I can still hear my screams 7 years later. I was beaten. They wouldn't let me leave. Threatened with box cutters. I remember begging for some Diet Coke, and they threw it on me and threw it all over the room. He said, "Here's your Diet Coke." I can still have a flash, if I allow myself to, of basically acting like the girl was my girlfriend and walking very calmly out of the hotel room, right across the street to the ATM, pulling out the rest of my unemployment. Again, I was stupid. I was looking for people to trust, looking for something to hold on to. Then when my unemployment hit, played it perfectly. I don't remember too much about that other than begging for my life, crying like a little baby, and the only thought was to make it through that alive. And 8 days later, my next unemployment check, get the hell out of there. They said they knew people that if I called the cops, pretty much they'd have me killed. And I believed them. This happened about 2 blocks away from the state police station. It happened during the day when the least amount of people were in the hotel. They knew it. They didn't plan it at night. Unfortunately, apparently nobody was within shouting distance because nobody called the cops. They threatened me with a gun they supposedly had in a very large army style duffel bag. Walked across the street. I tried to leave myself money for a bus ticket to come up. They said, "No, we want to see the receipt. And pull the rest out." I didn't know what to do. I was scared for my life at the time. A day later, a friend of mine who was a business owner and a Fayetteville police officer, they told him what happened. They said, "You need to fill out a report." I said, "No, I can't. They'll kill me." "No, we know someplace you can stay that's safe." I said, "I can't." For the better part of 7 years, again, even if I allow myself to think about it even now, a part of me still thinks that if they hurt anyone else, it's my fault. I could have stopped them and I didn't. The whole point of me telling you this, and the whole point of me kicking this off, is to show you what the magazine, a large part of it, is about. It's about making a difference in people's lives. It's about trying to help people, help our society, help our world. Now we get to the helping part. If you go through a violent crime, and by the way, I didn't even go to the hospital because I knew if I went to the hospital, I'd have to report what happened. That night, first night after they did it, I still remember being on the main drag in Fayetteville. I don't even remember what it was called. I ran into him and I was freaking out. I was trying to keep my calm because I was in public, but inside I was freaking out. It's literally completely 100% fear and terror. He gave me my wallet back, and a gentleman from the military, I could easily tell was stationed in Fort Bragg, looked at me. I looked back at him like, please don't get involved, please don't get involved, please don't do anything. That gentleman, I could tell by the look on his face, was ready to jump. But I couldn't risk anyone else getting injured. That honestly was the thought in my mind. I couldn't risk anyone else getting hurt. Point is, I survived it. Looking back on it, if I would call the cops, thought they would have done anything. They didn't know it. They were low lifes. But at the time, I was just by myself. They had me 2-on-1, cornered, you know. They knew what they were doing. After I came back for a few years, I thought, going back down, my only thought was if I would and I'd see them, I would kill them. I didn't. I wanted revenge, and I just never took it. Never had the chance to go down there. Now, if I ever would go back down to Fayetteville and see them, number one, they would, even if they would recognize me, I'd just walk away. I wouldn't do a single thing to them. But the whole point of this is that if you go through a violent crime, even if you're not injured, and even without a hospital or a doctor, badly bruised chest, broken nose. Thought my ribs were broken, but they weren't. And like I said, the whole point of this is to, if you've been through any crime, or anybody's done anything to you, especially violent, whether domestic violence, robbery, mugging, assault, whatever, do whatever it takes to make it through that situation with the least amount of damage in the best health possible, in the best shape possible. Your only thought has to be to make it through that situation alive. Because even if you think you're all alone, you're not. There are people out there that will help you. There are people out there that will be there for you, believe it or not. And don't be afraid to tell people about what happened. Don't think, like with me, if you're that, oh, well, I'm a guy or whatever, or even a woman, I'm too tough for that, or I'm ashamed, I put myself in that situation, whatever. Do not think that at all. It's not your fault. And don't be like me where and spend years of your life thinking, blaming yourself that if that person or those people would have hurt anyone else, it would have been your fault. It was on you. It isn't. It's on them. And after you survive the attack, the violent crime, the violence, talk to people. Get help. Don't be afraid to go to the police. Don't be afraid to go to a doctor or the hospital emergency room. Trust me, I've been through it. This isn't somebody in the media shooting their mouths off and doing an article from the outside. This is somebody in the media who's been through it personally. I think the reason why I don't have the sunglasses on, why the camera is actually pointing towards me, even though I hate being in front of the camera, is to show I'm not lying to you. When I came back here to Lehigh Valley, for the first few months, I had flashbacks. There were times where I was sitting in the hotel room, one just freaking out completely, telling myself over and over, they're over 500 miles away, they don't know where I am, they can't touch me, they can't hurt me. You know? I still remember Christmas in the Lehigh Valley Mall, walking through the Lehigh Valley Mall and swearing I saw them. And I didn't. But whatever you do, don't keep it inside. Don't bottle it up, because trust me, it will destroy you. And the longer you do that, the longer it will affect you, the longer it will hurt you emotionally. The longer it will eat at you, the longer it will destroy you. I know this article is very long, but please listen. Hopefully you listen to the whole thing. Get help. Talk to people. Talk to friends. Talk to family. Talk to your spouse or significant other person you're with. Go to the doctor. Go to the police. Put your story out on social media. Surrealville City is always open and I encourage people to submit their stories about having survived a violent crime and what they went through. I did one of the worst things possible. Blocked it out, avoided it, still haven't dealt with it. Never will. Every time a flashback hits, just, again, dive into something, block it out so it can't touch me. Never will figure out how to deal with something like that. Don't make the same mistakes I did. Just trust me. The only person you're going to hurt is yourself. And at that point, they've won. You're stronger. You make it through a violent crime. You're one hell of a strong person. Trust me. Do whatever it takes to deal with it and recover from it. Don't do the worst. Don't do the worst possible. One of the two worst possible scenarios and run from it. Thanks everybody for listening.